assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're continuing with the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 5, text 24. These are Vidura's talks with Maitreya, and Maitreya is now speaking. Savaesha tata drashta, Savaesha tada drasta. No, that's not the right one. That's the wrong one. Is it? No, it is. Okay. Na yaishya drishyam ekarat, na pashya drishyam ekarat, mene santam ivatmanam, shupta shaktir asupta drik. Supta Shaktir Asupta Drik Sava Esha Tadadrasta Napashya Drishyam Ekarat Mene Santam Ivatmanam Supta Shaktir Asupta Drik Shavayesha tadadrasta Napashya drishyamekarat Mene santam vivatmanam Supta shaktira supta drik Shavayesha tadadrasta Napashya drishyamekarat Mene santam ivatmanam Supta shaktira supta drik. Just letting you know class has begun. Just letting you know that class has begun. Okay? Class has begun. Savaesha tadadrashta Napashya drishyamekarat Mene santam vivatmanam Supta drik Saha, the personality of Godhead. Va, either. Eshaha, all these. Tada, at that time. Drashta, the seer. Na, did not. Apashyat, see. Drishyam, the cosmic creation. Ekarat, undisputed proprietor. Mene, thought like this. Ashantam, non-existent. Eva, like that. Atmanam, plenary manifestations. Supta, unmanifested. Shakti, material energy. Asupta, manifested. Drik, internal potency. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Lord, the undisputed proprietor of everything, was the only seer. The cosmic manifestation was not present at that time, and thus he felt imperfect without his plenary and separated parts and parcels. The material energy was dormant, whereas the internal potency was manifested. Purport. The Lord is the supreme seer, because only by his glance did the material energy become active for cosmic manifestation. At that time, the seer was there, but the external energy over which the glance of the Lord is cast was not present. He felt somewhat insufficient, like a husband feeling lonely in the absence of his wife. This is a poetic simile. The Lord wanted to create the cosmic manifestation to give another chance to the conditioned souls who were dormant in forgetfulness. The cosmic manifestation gives the conditioned souls a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. And that is its main purpose. The Lord is so kind that in the absence of such a manifestation, he feels something wanting, and thus the creation takes place. Although the creation of the internal potency was manifested, the other potency appeared to be sleeping, and the Lord wanted to awaken her to activity, just as a husband wants to awaken his wife from the sleeping state for enjoyment. It is the compassion of the Lord for the sleeping energy that he wants to see her awaken for enjoyment, like the other wives who are awake. The whole process is to enliven the sleeping conditioned souls to the real life of spiritual consciousness, so that they may thus become as perfect as the ever-liberated souls in the Vaikuntha lokas. Since the Lord is Satchitananda Vigraha, Brahma Samhita 5.1, he likes every part and parcel of his different potencies to take part in the blissful rasa, because participation with the Lord in his eternal rasa lila is the highest living condition, perfect in spiritual bliss and eternal knowledge. Om Agyanatimarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Mukangaroti Vachalam Bangam Langayate Giri Jadkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyishwaram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'm standing in for Yugal Kishore, who's not here. And I won't be here on Thursday, which is my normal class day. So, and then I have to express, since I have the opportunity now with an audience, my thanks to everyone over these past nearly more than 6 months, because my wife and I were leaving back to Mayapur this coming Sunday. So, then we'll come back probably in April. So thank you very, very much, everyone. And you out there too, in the listening audience. Hare Krishna. So we're beginning at the beginning. The Lord has been lying down. He's lying down. It's interesting because Mahavishnu, this is something I don't fully understand here. Who's who in this? And when we speak the Lord, which Lord are we talking about? Because it seems that Mahavishnu is that Lord that we're speaking about. Because Mahavishnu is that Lord who glances over the material energy and awakens the conditioned souls who have been in a state of shushupta in his own body. Now he is also in a sort of mystic slumber, it's said, that his seeing and his interaction here is also taking place from the position of lying down. Right? We hear he's lying down in the causal ocean. And he's in a very special state here. Very special, very difficult. It's not like as Krishna in Goloka, he's just active and running about and doing all kinds. Here he's lying down. There's a wonderful song composed by my godbrother Mangalananda called Svetadvip. Of course, this is little, but and I remember one. I was reminded today. Somebody sent me the link to one of Srila Prabhupada's, the videos of Srila Prabhupada in black and white from here in New York, and was asking something. And I said, yeah, because I did those videos. That was my service, one of my services. But this was in 1971, 72, I think, 72. And the Change of Heart. How many of you have heard the Change of Heart album? New generation. Oh. Yes. Well, you helped make it platinum in Australia, right? Yeah. We distributed so many copies of this album. It's pretty good, actually. If you know, it's a little 70s style of music, but really quite well done. This was the famous, and have you heard of rock opera? No. You don't know anything about ISKCON history. Oh. The rock opera. This was about 1972. Allow me this little diversion into ISKCON history. So here we are in, was started by Vishnujan Maharaj and Kirtanananda. They started the road show, it was called. Okay, so if you look at a road show. And then they created, and they started attracting people, and quite a few were musicians, and they started getting into, let's put together a rock opera, okay? They had drummers and these were good, they were pretty good musicians, actually. And there was two, one is Mangalananda, who's, you can still find, Michael Cassidy, you can see his music online if you'd like. Wonderful devotee. And Janmadagni, who was a poet. And Janmadagni wrote these amazing lyrics. And Mangalananda put them to tune, and then sang them, and the whole thing was produced. And the story was called "A Change of Heart," and it's actually quite good, and the songs are pretty good. So, going back to Godhead, yes, we're going home. So one was Sveta Dvip. And so I had this equipment, and we were so I said, let's make a music video. So this was my first, it's lost, unfortunately. But we took the painting that's in the Bhagavatam, and I practiced, zooming in and out of different parts of it, and he was singing, and we did a little thing. Lying down in mystic slumber, that was the words. So Mahavishnu is lying down in mystic slumber. He's awake and yet sleeping, because he's seeing, he's the seer here. He's going to glance over the energy, but he breathed in, and it all came into him. And just with a breath out, universes, the material energy comes forth out of his body. Or it's there already. That part I can't quite figure out. There's the causal ocean, there's this, it's dormant, but this is mystic. But the jivas have been sleeping. They've been in real sleep. This sleep of the jivas, when they're wound up into the body of Mahavishnu, this is deep. There's no consciousness. This is rest in peace, really, to its full extent. Nothing. Until it's time. And out they come again. But for them to come out, first there has to be a place. So to create, to manifest that place for the jivas, Mahavishnu glances over the Mahatattva out of this desire. This is what Srila Prabhupada is really pointing to here. That this world that we inhabit, the bodies we inhabit, this world of material energy has been manifested out of Krishna's desire to bring us back to him. That's its purpose. That's why it exists. And we said, well, wait a minute. I thought it exists so that we can enjoy. What other purpose? It's here for my pleasure. And certainly that is how we're all approaching this material energy. How can I enjoy it? We think we are the seers. But our power of seeing is stated that because Krishna is seeing, we can see. Because Krishna is experiencing this world, because it's his energy, we, as his parts and parcels, as part of him, our power to experience this world comes as a condition of our being part of Krishna. The ability to experience, the ability to be, to exist, is based on the eternal existence of Krishna. Krishna is the supreme existence from which all existence comes. Satchitananda Vigraha. He is Sat, he is Chit, and he is full of Ananda, with form, with activity. And we're part of that. But we have been sleeping. And not only that, we have become conditioned by illusion, by Maya, by false ego. As the chapter progresses, we'll see how the various elements of this material world, they arise in different ways, out of different modes. Very complicated. I confess to having just the barest understanding of what's actually going on. It's nothing like our creation, you know, and destruction. First, I saw you were up there in the room on the just up here. You were destroying, you're pulling things down and throwing it out. Okay, that's one. Then now you've created, you painted it, and yeah, we can understand. Okay, you take a hammer and you can pull things apart, but how do the elements arise out of goodness and ego? And I mean, this is nothing that we can understand by any direct experience. We have no experience of such creation. We have actually some experience. We dream. We all dream. And in our dreams, things manifest, apparently out of nothing. I mean, there's nothing there, but it appears to be all real. Of course, we don't have much control over it. I've heard there are some people who practice some sort of lucid dreaming where they can actually control what is there. That would be interesting. For my part, I simply pray that Krishna will control it, that he will use his power of creation to manifest some environment in my mental space that is of some service to him. That prayer. Because we depend on Krishna for all creation. We have our little creative space that we can create something tiny. But Krishna, not even directly, but by one part of him, by one plenary part of him, his own being, he creates everything. And the point here is that Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing is he's doing this out of love. He even Prabhupada uses the analogy of the lover wanting to awaken his wife. And it's interesting, for enjoyment. Krishna he's also, why does he want to awaken us? Why does he want to bring us back? Because he wants to enjoy us. We are meant to be enjoyed. We are the objects of Krishna's enjoyment. That's why we exist, to give him pleasure. He wants us to dance with him. Prabhupada gives that term here. He wants us to come in to the Rasa Leela, he says here. Since the Lord is Satchidananda Vigraha, He likes every part and parcel of His different potencies to take part in the blissful ras, because participation with the Lord in His eternal Rasa Leela. We heard about Rasa Leela just a few days ago. The dance is the highest living condition, perfect in spiritual bliss and eternal knowledge. He wants us to come and dance with Him. As we all know, dancing is best experienced with others. We practice that here in Radha Govinda Mandir, isn't it? I always, sometimes I'm off here little dancing, on my own, but it's when we get into a group and we're dancing and then someone, we're in a circle and someone twirls in the middle and so on. This is dance. Krishna's enjoying through our dancing. He wants us to dance with Him. Therefore, He awakens us. Come on, let's try this again. Let's try this again. The last 4 trillion, what is it? The life of Brahma, 4 trillion, the whole life. Huh? Yeah. But actually, we go to sleep every night. So how long is that? 4.3 billion. Million. 4.3 million years. Okay. So we got a long day. We've had a long day, 4.3 million years. It's a good amount. And yet, we didn't get it. We didn't get it. We've had how many bodies in that period of time? Of course, some of them may have been, long-lived bodies on some heavenly planet, perhaps. But they could have been very short-lived bodies, too. Little insects. But we just haven't gotten it. We haven't gotten it. We avoid it. So we go to sleep, we enter into this sushupta, and now we're coming back out again. And because Krishna wants to give us another, how is he said, another chance. That's what Prabhupada uses the term here. The Lord wanted to create the cosmic manifestation to give another chance to the conditioned souls who were dormant in forgetfulness. Even when we're awake, we're sleeping. Even when we think we're awake, and we're actually sleeping to ourselves, who we are. So we have to initially wake up into consciousness. That's the first awakening that Krishna stimulates. And then we have the call. Atishtara, Jagrata, right? Get up, Jagrata, awaken. Awaken. Awaken to who we are. Get woke. Not in the sense of politics, but in the sense of our eternal life. So, this is the purpose of this world. Now, as we go forward, we're going to be looking more and more at how Krishna manifests this world in some detail. we're going to be seeing how the false ego arises and how the senses arise and the elements arise. And the question may come of what do we do with this information? What do we do with it? Why is Maitreya has told Vidura that that this has all been arranged by Krishna. That Maitreya was present, hearing, and this, I didn't have much time to prepare today. I would have liked to go back and look at, because as far as I recall, basically Krishna is instructing Uddhava, and Maitreya is there. So Maitreya is hearing what Krishna is instructing Uddhava, and then Maitreya also gets some direction to also give instruction. And in fact, Vidura first approaches Uddhava, but Uddhava defers to Maitreya being the senior. So the instructions that are getting passed on here have initially come forward to Uddhava, who's a perfect devotee. Now they're to Maitreya and they're coming to Vidura. These are all devotees. What is the purpose of hearing about these details of Krishna's creation? And initially, Maitreya begins to explain, well, we have to do this. This is a Purana, right? We're expounding on the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavad Purana, and Purana must provide all information. So one perspective is that to be complete, to be a complete, a complete presentation, we have to have this information. I'll give you some of my reflections on this, and you can also share what you may have. One reflection is that the Bhagavatam is a revelation of Krishna, whereby we begin at his lotus feet, and we progress further and further until we reach the 10th canto, wherein we get to fully see Krishna, his smiling face. So one perspective is that hearing this about the creation brings us to the beginning of our connection now in the material world with Krishna. Brings us to that point where we have to see who we are in relationship to Krishna through our relationship with this cosmic manifestation. We have to come into that consciousness of being infinitesimal, small, conditioned entities dependent on Krishna. We have to appreciate Krishna as God. When we reach the 10th canto, Krishna gives up his God type of personality, and he assumes, or he expresses, he reveals his person, who he is as a person, fully. And there's a danger, and it is a great danger, that if we jump to the 10th canto to hear about Krishna and his pastimes, and especially his Rasa Leela, we can forget that this is God and misunderstand his activities as comparable to the mundane, loving exchanges that we are looking for in this material world. So we have to begin by seeing Krishna as the ultimate, the supreme Godhead, the absolute being, far, far beyond our capacity to even understand. To even understand. We have to hear this, and at least for me, the effect is, whoa, wow, how does that work? Proof, to me, at least I find it to be proof, yes, I am not so smart as I think I may be. That I have this intelligence. I can't understand. And to appreciate that Krishna doesn't create the material world. He doesn't manifest this world like a carpenter taking a piece of wood and a nail and sticking it together, or an engineer, or even a computer scientist. I mean, for many people, they look at these things and they say, whoa, how did that happen? Right? How did they fit all that into this? And then the computer scientist stands up and says, well, I know. I got the electrons, and whatever. And common people say, whoa. And then they go to Google and they look up something and say, whoa, how did Google know all that? Oh, they must be gods. There was, some time ago, I watched a movie. And I'm trying to remember what the gods have brought. And basically it was set in Africa. And this is, maybe 50 years ago or 100 years ago or something. It's a long time ago, before, Western civilization had penetrated every village and every part of Africa. So this was a bushman. I can't remember his tribe, but he was a real bushman. And he was out in the bush. And he was, going about his business and just, looking for stuff to eat, and very happy guy, really very happy. And unbeknownst to him, he didn't see it, but unbeknownst to him, there's an airplane, small aircraft flying overhead, some explorers or something like that. And one of the persons in the airplane is drinking a Coke out of a bottle. And then thinks, that's finished, and throws it out. And this Coke bottle lands, I don't think it hit him on his head, it just landed like right next to him, this bushman. And he looked up. Oh, the gods have sent something. And so he's like, I have to bring this back. And the whole story unfolds about him trying to return the Coke bottle or whatever. Because for him, this was a sign of the divine. So to an ordinary person, they may think this is... And we may also think, this material world, and this is science we're trying to figure, and we're going to figure it out, right? We're going to figure it all out. We're going to figure out how the planets were created. We're going to figure out how the universe came into being. We're going to figure this all. It's all there to us to figure out. But it isn't. We can't figure it out. So that's another reflection, that this explanation, which can only be received, you can't figure this out. This is not stuff that you can experiment and discover. Oh, the cosmic manifestation proceeds in this way, and the senses, and this was created by this. You can't figure that out. You can't make experiments and discover it. There's no way to mathematically deduce these things. There's no evidence of it. It's another problem. The scientists always, they've got to find the evidence. So they're looking in the cosmic rays for the evidence that there was a big bang. And oh yeah, that must be because there's this electromagnetic radiation that is coming back. And this is a sign that there was such a big explosion so many billions and trillions of years ago. And this is all, and it's all working out. But there are a few holes here, like what happened before that. We don't really know anything about that, but we're going to figure it out. It's going to come. We're going to get it. So these instructions here, they initially, at least one thing that they do is demolish our sense of being able to know about this world and how it comes into being by some scientific deductive process. And yet it gives us, at the same time, it tells us this is how it happens. Okay, we don't understand it. At least I don't understand exactly, what's going on here. But we have now the information. We know something. And from this we can start to get little clues. I do believe, and this is a thesis, a theory I haven't yet tested, but because we don't get into mystic yoga, right? Any mystic yogis here? Yeah? No? But, there are people who really do get into mystic yoga. And they get into things where they probably need some guidance about, okay, how do I fit this together? How do I move through the shaktis, the chakras, right? You have the chakras and you move the life airs and you do the pranayamas and you do the mantras and you do something, and it all starts to get down to very fundamental elements. And you begin to actually, from what I've understood, and I don't speak from any experience here, but you get down into that level of consciousness where you become conscious of the things that are being talked about here. And with the right guidance and tools, you can manipulate the material energy to produce things that otherwise can't. So this information is important for them as well. But for us, the bhaktas, my suggestion is that this is given to us to help us come into a deeper understanding of where we are, who we are, and stimulate our desire to surrender to the Supreme who's created everything, to surrender, knowing that Supreme Lord is all powerful. Look at what he does. Look at what he does by a glance. By just a glance, he manifests this cosmic creation. And to know that he's doing it for that sublime purpose of bringing us back into his Rasa Leela. So, he is the seer by which we get power to see. He is the enjoyer, and we are objects, servants of his enjoyment, directly or indirectly. He has created this world not only, although his main purpose of manifesting the material energy is to revive our love for him, to bring us back. But he also enjoys this world. He creates, he has his own leelas in this world as well. Leelas that he doesn't get in Goloka, especially fights, demons. So we can understand that even though we think we're in the consciousness of being the enjoyers of our worlds, we also are always serving. We're always serving him. Now we just have to wake up to that and enter into the consciousness of being servants of Krishna and seek to constantly remember him, constantly think of him, and constantly serve. Hare Krishna. So we have a few more minutes. If anyone else has some realizations on the topic of creation, they can share that. And if you ask me a question about, I don't know if I'll be able to answer it, but you're welcome to try. Hare Krishna. Any comments, suggestions, questions? No? We're all good? All right, good. Thank you again, everyone. Hare Krishna. And I don't think I'll be, this week is a lot of family, etc., so I'm not going to be here all the time, but thank you. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.